Okay, quick and dirty. We've got a SOG ToolClip versus a bunch of these other tools. First is the ToolClip. This needs dedicated force to open. And then it takes a few tries. These are very stiff. Very, very stiff. And very difficult to open with just one finger. It's a lot easier to use these two fingers to open. And when you do, I mean, it's really awkward. There's very little space under the handle to get a finger in, so you're really pushing from the side to get it up. And if your hands are oily or you're wearing gloves, it's just not going to happen. The clip is convenient. It's nice for pocket carry, but that's all it really has going for it. This tool here, this bottle opener at the front, jams against this screwdriver blade. As you can see here, it's really, really difficult to pull out. Now you can see it's now resting against the screwdriver, but I can push it a little more, and it is definitely binding. The serrated blade, hold on a second here. The serrated blade is not very sharp. It took me 3 tries to cut paracord with this. And the file is really smooth. It can barely file fingernails. It does have this nice little wire stripper notch that's sharpened. And the bottle opener blade also has that. Now, one thing about this is this area of the tool right here sticks out quite a bit and is very pointy. And when I really work really hard on a bolt, it's really painful actually. In that little spot right there, you see that gets all red. I mean, it is not comfortable to hold. And it's awkward to use. I mean, if I'm trying to do this and I feel like I'm always about to drop the tool. Now here, we have a true value copy. It's a little easier to get the loop off. The jaws aren't as tight, but they are still awkward to open. There's less space here. These don't stick out as far, and they don't hurt as much when you're really gripping hard. In fairness, this is what one side of the tool looks like, with these nice big fat rivets. This other side of the tool, I actually had to go and peen all of these rivets with a ball peen hammer because the tool was half falling apart when I got it. It just was not peened very well at all. The jaws were loose and floppy, and the wire cutters couldn't cut anything because there was so much play in the head. Though this is a very good copy, there is no binding. In fact, you can actually wiggle this little screwdriver here up and down, and it is not in any way contacting, binding against this bottle opener blade. And hold on a sec. Ah, that's hard. Oh, that won't open. And I stabbed myself. Yeah, right now I'm having a hard time getting this blade open here on this tool clip. Yeah, it's not happening. It's bound up so well. I will say though that this is cut at a shallower angle. This is about like a 25-degree angle here. Whereas on the tool clip, it's actually more like a 45-degree angle. So this is actually a sharper blade, a sharper edge, and a little bit nicer to use as a third cutting blade. Now we get on to these copies. Now these I also, let's see, this one here has not been peened by me. It does work, it does cut. It doesn't have a lot of play. It's already a little bit tight, as you can see. But these rivets need to be peened or the tool I fear is going to come apart. They're just not done very well. That said, I mean, look, there is some stiffness to these. The cutters are what's binding on this tool, which means that the cutters are going to work very well. Once that wears down a bit, they're going to operate very smoothly. Notice the space. Even when they do get stuck, there's plenty of space to stick an entire finger under to pop them open. Even when they're closed all the way, I can get a finger under. It's a very comfortable tool. However, all of these have interference here. This binds on all of them. And the file is pretty crappy on all of them. The serrated teeth are okay, and the main blade is okay. This cost me about $15. This True Value cost me $20 brand new in the package. This is used, very scratched, and it was $60. It took 5 minutes of time to peen these rivets. Anyway, here's another copy. This one has got some New Jersey transportation. It was given out as promotional. This is what they're supposed to feel like. There's no binding at all. They work very well. The riveting, again, isn't the best. They could stand some upgrade. This one has no washer. Oh, hold on. On this tool, to prevent binding here, they actually gave the screwdriver a bend. It doesn't contact this blade here, and it's just enough to clear, and you can move it up and down just barely, so it's not binding against this blade. These do not stick out. Well, they stick out a little bit more, and they still do hurt a bit. Not as bad as the SOG, but still there. Then we have the Sheffield, which is, you know, it seems like a cheap copy. It doesn't have the same type of jaws. In fact, these are a one-piece scissor style jaw. You can see, I don't know if you can see there. It's a less strong jaw. On these, on the ToolClip, this upper jaw is held in place by these two rivets, and this whole lower jaw pivots on this center rivet. It's a stronger jaw configuration. And this has both sides have a like a two-piece pivot in there. It has this big thick spring here, which doesn't work as nice as the spring on this tool. And it, you know, it's got a lot of, this sticks out, and it's equally uncomfortable in the hand. However, this tool has a really good can opener. I mean, this rips through a can in no time flat. It has two sharpened notches here for wire stripping. A very wicked sharp blade on that for opening cans. The main blade is quite sharp, and the serrated blade is a very unique serration thing here. It's very sharp. It doesn't cut paracord all that well, but you've got a dual-sided scraper here instead of an extra screwdriver, and a file that actually works. So, and a back spring Phillips driver. So it's not as well machined a tool. It is riveted together very well. I will say that. It doesn't have the same quality feeling, but it's got a better tool load. And I mean, the cutters work, the pliers work. The can opener is really useful. It's a slightly more useful tool than the SOG. I hate to say it. And then we get to the Coast tools. This is a Coast Pocket Mechanic. It's made in 1993. 1993 to, I believe, 2002. Look at how easy that is to open. There's enough space to get the tip of a finger underneath. It's got bigger jaws. Okay, it's a much larger nut gripping area in the center here, with smaller wire cutters. It's got these plastic handles which are very comfortable. There's no sharp edges on this. I can really grip this and not feel any discomfort or pain. This back spring driver is very, very big. It's as big as the same diameter as a Wenger pocket knife, Wenger Swiss Army knife back spring driver, but significantly longer. And this has a completely different tool load. We've got a main blade, a serrated blade with a file that's actually really, really good. It's good enough to file steel. Then we have a saw and a bottle opener that has a screwdriver on the end instead of a blade. So there's only 2 cutting blades and then a bottle opener blade. And the bottle opener blade has the sharpened notch there for the wire stripping. And that's, you don't have the flip up mini blade, which was honestly really annoying. It never stays up, it flops around because it doesn't have a back spring, and it would be in the way of the saw nail nick. It's actually a better design to put that on the end of this bottle opener, I think. So this is a better tool, in my opinion. It's got better jaws, bigger jaws. Let's see how far they open. They open further than the ToolClip by a fair amount, actually. And they are the same style, where this upper jaw is riveted in 2 places and the lower jaw and handle are one piece. I would pack this with me. It doesn't clip onto my belt like the ToolClip does, but it comes with a very nice ballistic nylon sheath, and it's just is a very pocketable tool. However, I would skip this one and go directly to this. In 1997, Coast upgraded the Pocket Mechanic to have a back spring. Yeah, that is a lot nicer. It's the exact same tool otherwise. It's actually got a little bit better quality control from the 97 and up. It's got a very nice back spring right there. It's not in the way. You can fit your fingers under here if you want to. I don't know why you would. But unlike these copies here, which have a spring under this handle, it's a cool little spring that just pops into the back of the handle. It's a very light action. It works really well. And then this little wire loop retains it. And it's a very one-handed opening. You can just use a pinky to slide it down. And it's a little more awkward to use the pinky to slide it up, though. Same tool load as the other Coast. Yeah, it's an excellent tool. I like it better than the SOG ToolClip or any of these other copies. I'm sorry, but this is an awkward, uncomfortable, sharp tool to use. It's not convenient. It doesn't have a Phillips driver. This binds up. It's not sharpened very well. The file is terrible. it's nice and heavy duty, but so are these. These aren't significantly worse. In fact, this is actually better. This True Value version, once you hammer these with a ball peen hammer so that they mushroom out, it's a better all-around tool than the SOG ToolClip. These don't have the sharpened wire notches, and they don't have a washer on this back spring drive or on this micro driver, so that these always bind. So yeah, it's not quite as good a tool. The files on these are also terrible, but honestly, I would go with the Coast, especially the spring-loaded Coast, because that is just a comfortable, easy-to-use tool. I might even go for the Sheffield, just because of that awesome can opener and useful back spring driver. It doesn't feel as good in the hand. The jaw operation is not as nice. The jaws don't open as much on the spring. It doesn't feel as quality as the SOG or the Coast, but it's actually more useful with a tool load than the SOG is. But really, you cannot go wrong with these Coast. They're comfortable. They have useful tools, and they're made with very, very acceptable quality. More so, honestly, than this SOG. They're sharpened better as well. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but the SOG ToolClip is just not that great. Sorry to say. And Chopper Charles signing out.